Hello everyone, semi-retired Bob here. I talk about the carnivore diet, all things related to the carnivore diet, and a few other miscellaneous odds and ends. If this is your first time visiting my channel, welcome. I am glad you're here. And if you're wondering what in the world am I watching, why is this old retired truck driver talking about health and nutrition? Well, about 7.5 months ago, I could barely stand for 2 to 2.5 minutes without having severe pain. My back primarily, but my knees, my hips, my ankles, literally everything hurt from arthritis and spinal stenosis. And today, as in all of the other videos that I've made within the last few months, you're going to see me walk. First-hand evidence that carnivore diet heals. Here comes another car. So that's primarily what these videos are about. I do attempt to come up with, some marginally interesting things to talk about, but the primary purpose of these videos is to show you firsthand that it is possible to completely change your health, no matter how old you are. I am almost 60. And I've been slowly going downhill for 40 plus years. Because I was diagnosed with gout, got kicked out of the Army, and because science was completely wrong about what causes gout, what you do to treat gout, and everything else, it slowly progressed and caused me a world of problems. But in the last 7.5 months, I would have to say I am 90 to 95% better. I mean, my joints still hurt in the cold, so I still have some healing to do there, and they may not get all the way back, having spent so much time metabolically unhealthy. But even if I never improve from this point, my life is so much better today than it was just 7.5 months ago. For those of you that are still suffering from the deep freeze, I'm sorry. It is still cold here, but it's up to 45 degrees, which is why I've got on. I still have my hat on, even though it bugs me. I have my big blue coat on, but I've just got a thick t-shirt and those same ugly sweatpants I was wearing yesterday. Well, they're not ugly. They're Ohio State sweatpants, but they're huge. They're actually pulled up and I drawstringed in place just below my rib cage. So they're a lot too big. I am slowly replacing my wardrobe. I got another pair of pants and 2 shirts supposed to be arriving today from Amazon. So we shall see. As you losing weight and figuring out what your sizes are. And that's why I don't want to spend too much on too many new clothes right away, and I'm kind of depending on the clothes that I have with drawstrings to get me on through another 25 or 30 pounds. Because I bought a brand new pair of pants to go with my church outfit when I got down here. And they were size 42. And, I think it was size 58 pants down here last year. It might only have been 56s. I would check, but they're all the way back at the house in Omaha, so I can't really check. They were either 56s or 58s. So I bought 42s. And when I went to church on Christmas Day, I could pull those 42s on without unbuttoning them. I had to hold them up with a belt, or they'd have fallen right off. And I'm thinking, I think the pair of pants I ordered is 40, but they might have been 38s. I'm hoping they were 38s. But if they're 40s, I'm not going to get a lot of distance out of those either. Which is why I'm, not rushing right out on, besides that being on a fixed income, I'm not rushing right out to buy a bunch of new clothes all at once. Because they're not going to be the right size in 3 months. And then I'll have to do it all over again. But anyway, that's enough preamble. Let's talk about today's subject. And yes, the title of this video is going to be a little bit clickbaity. I don't know exactly what I'm going to call it yet, but in preparation for January 1st, when everybody and their mother wants to find a diet or a weight loss hack, it's probably going to be something like Carnivore Diet Extreme Weight Loss Hack. Even though those of us who are in the know and have been studying this for a long time know that the Carnivore Diet is not really a weight loss hack. It's a proper human diet. It's a way of eating. It's a way of life to fully regain your health. And that happens for most of the people that try this. I mean, let's face it, if you came here looking for a magic pill that you can take to drop your weight down, you're not going to find that here. If you're looking for some kind of strange herbal mixture that you can, if you travel to the remote mountains of Tibet and gather this herb and boil it in a tea, you're not going to find that here either. What you're going to find here is solid, sensible advice to lose weight naturally and as quickly as possible. But not everybody loses weight super fast on this diet. Because if you have been so metabolically unhealthy that you have, let's just say, I am not even going to name a disease here, we'll just call it disease X. If your body decides that it needs to heal disease X first, you're probably not going to lose a lot of weight until disease X is healed. I guess the Christmas season is over. There's a lot more traffic out here. There's actually a couple of people here at the church today. Well, Pastor was here for a little bit this morning. Miss Jessica's in there working, as I call it, her working a half day on her day off, because she seems to do that a lot. But that's part of why the business of the church here runs so smoothly, is because most of the staff here goes out of their way to make sure things run smooth. And Miss Tony's here. She's taken over basically the cleaning duties. And she's going through everything. She starts in the big building and works her way through the entire place. And of course, she's an old retired Army gal herself. So she does an amazing job at cleaning stuff. And of course, the big loud log trucks are starting to roll again. But I can tell it is 45 degrees out here today. It was hovering right at 40, and I got cold and everything started to hurt a little bit pretty quick. Today I'm making it longer. I'm coming up on the 2 to 2.5 lap mark, because I started up front and went around this thing and then went around. Anyway, you saw. But another half lap or so and I'll be to about where I was yesterday. And my left knee is just now starting to twinge just a little bit. Not enough to make me want to stop. One of these days I'm going to get out my hiking poles and use those on the parking lot too, because I really like those. They help out a lot. What was I talking about? Yeah. Sorry. If you keep letting me get sidetracked like that, we're never going to get through this video. But, yeah, if you came here looking for a quick fix, you're not going to find that. But a proper human diet is high fat, moderate protein, 0 carbs. As Professor K likes to say, the exact requirement for the human body for carbohydrates is not 1 gram ever. I, of course, for the last several months have been doing Lion Diet. Oh, and for those of you that were looking for a quick fix, I don't know how quick a fix you want, but for the reference, I'm down 125.5 pounds in 7.5 months. That seems pretty quick. In fact, that's almost as fast as somebody that had gastric bypass surgery, my brother. But the one thing I don't have that he has are these huge flappy folds of loose skin. Because when you have gastric bypass surgery, yes, you do lose weight. It works because you can't eat as much. The problem is that for the first 3 to 5 months, adjusting to your new innards that can't take in as much food is basically you eat as much as you can, as often as you can, knowing that you can't get enough nutrition in one sitting. So you eat several times a day and you think that's the correct way to go. Well, because you're eating several times a day, your insulin levels never drop all the way down to baseline, and your body never enters autophagy. Autophagy, to put it very unscientifically, is what happens to the body in a fasting state, where basically your old bad cells that aren't working right get broken down and restructured into good, healthy cells. And what's your skin made of? Cells. Everything in your body is made of cells. And I do have a little bit of a pouch in my lower belly. But considering I've gone from a size 58 pant to a size 38 or 40 pant in 7.5 months, you would expect me to have huge rolls of loose skin. And I don't, because of autophagy. I've spent the last 7.5 months, I started off at 2 meals a day. I've been 1 meal a day for at least 4 months now, maybe even longer. I don't remember exactly when I started doing 1 meal a day. But that 23 to 25 hours of fasting every day, depending on when I eat, with the exception of yesterday, has allowed my body to go into autophagy on a daily basis and chew up a lot of that loose skin while it was being formed. I'm not saying this is going to happen for everybody. Individual results may vary. But you didn't get to be fat and sick overnight. I saw a pretty funny meme about that. It was either this morning or last night. It's so hard to keep it all straight when I've basically just been surviving to keep warm for the last 4 days. 5 days now. It said, don't blame the holidays. You were overweight in August. Now you may have packed on 10 or 15 or 20 pounds over the holidays, as many people do. But it's not just the holidays. It's a lifetime of eating bad, making poor choices. It was for me. I didn't realize they were poor choices at the time. Well, the last couple of years I did, but for the most part, I thought I was doing the responsible thing. Yeah, I saw another one. I forget exactly what the term was. I think they called it grainology. But they said let's see if I can get this right. Grainology is the science of propaganda to convince people that the food they use to fatten up pigs before slaughter is going to make them lean and healthy. Think about that for a minute. People talking about whole grains being so good for you. They're not. It's all sugar. In fact, there's the one guy that does little health experiments on himself and showed that because of the density of whole grain breads, that the 2-hour result of blood sugar was actually worse from 2 slices of whole grain toast than 2 slices of white bread. But anyway, back to the proper human diet. There is a spectrum. ranging from standard low carb at about 50 carbs a day, all the way down to the Lion Diet and Carnivore Diet, which are both as close to 0 carbs as you can get. The very popular one is beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. And that's a good starting point for an elimination diet. That's where I started. And then I ended up having to cut out eggs. Because chicken eggs just don't agree with me. And I can't afford duck eggs or goose eggs or any of that other stuff. The way prices are going now, I can barely afford chicken eggs. I even got some homegrown eggs from a friend of mine down here. And I tried to eat them one time just to see. They made me feel not good. So I threw them away. I hate to throw food away, but I'm also not going to eat something that makes me feel bad. Not intentionally. But yeah, I was just talking about this in a reply to somebody on my channel, one of their questions. And I said, beef, butter, bacon, and eggs is a great place to start. Look at Larry from Carnivore Quest. The first time they did the beef, butter, bacon, and eggs challenge from Dr. Berry, he was on a mission to prove Dr. Berry wrong. Because Dr. Berry had said, you can eat as much as you want, as often as you want. So Larry did just that. He ate as much as he wanted, as often as he wanted, attempting to prove Dr. Berry wrong and actually put on some weight. I am back. Miss Tony was gathering up her trash bags, taking them out to the dumpster. And it would have been rude to keep talking on my phone instead of stopping to say hi to her. But, yeah, so I remember I was. So Larry was on a mission to prove Dr. Berry wrong. And he ate and ate and ate. But he stayed within the bounds of beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. And you know what happened? He lost a little weight. He might have lost more if he hadn't eaten such vast quantities. But he was on a mission to prove Dr. Berry wrong. And he failed. So, yeah, beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. That's a good place to go. A good place to start. January is World Carnivore Month. Because everybody's always, January 1st, New Year's resolutions. Going to get healthy, going to lose weight. Well, if you really want to lose weight, there are lots of diets out there. The problem is sustainability. What if I told you you could reach your goals and never step away from the table feeling hungry? Beef, butter, bacon, and eggs will do that for you. For me, I do Lion Diet, which means I just eat ruminant meat. For me, I just eat beef because beef is what I can afford. I'd love to get some lamb because I like lamb chops. I'd love to get some mutton. I like sheep. I'd like to have some bison or some venison as well. All of those are ruminant meats. And depending on where you live in the world, I'm told camel is a ruminant animal. But I just eat beef, water, and salt. That's it. I do have the occasional cup of black coffee, which is not carnivore, but it tastes so good. And I haven't ever noticed any side effects from not drinking it versus drinking it. I had that one day back in November where my first cup of coffee in a month caused me to lose a significant little pouch of weight. I think it's because coffee's a diuretic, and I may have just been holding on to a little fluid. But I'm not convinced there's any real harm in it. But I'm going to cut it out again for my portion of the January challenge. And I'm probably going to talk about the January challenge and ask for you to check in down in the comments on a pretty daily basis, just so that everybody can see how everybody else is doing. And another, one of my other comments that I wanted to touch on very briefly is there was someone who said she was kind of torn because part of her own personal challenge for 2023 was to spend less money to create bigger savings for her retirement, but at the same time was considering joining one of the many support groups that many of the big popular YouTubers have. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying anything bad about them. And if you've got the extra money or want that extra support, go right ahead. But before you spend your money on that kind of stuff, let me give you a couple of options. I have a Facebook group that's completely free to join. And there are lots of very intelligent, supportive people in there that are happy to help you with your questions, or just say, hey, hang in there, you can do this. If you need a bigger support group than that, I recommend Carnivore Quest. Also has a Facebook group that's totally free. They actually have two. They have the general one, and I understand there's a women-only Carnivore Quest group as well, because there are some questions that women like to ask each other that are a little on the sensitive side. Both of those are completely free. I won't say who, but one of the popular YouTubers that I follow, I thought, I'm going to go check out this paid site that he's got. And if it's not too unreasonable, I'm going to jump in. Because now that I'm approaching, I'm within 30 pounds of goal, I could probably use a little extra support, some help, some guidance. And then I saw the prices. Holy cow. That's how these people are making all their money on YouTube. I wish I had something to sell you that could make me that much money. I could afford to get my truck fixed. Wow. The one other thing I'm going to talk to you about real quick, Dr. Barry does have, he used to be on Patreon, now he has a Mighty Networks. And if you really want some good support for not a lot of money, his lowest tier only going to cost you $5 a month. And that gets you an extra live Q&A session every week. Plus you can ask questions in the general discussion area, and all of the Proper Human Diet mentors that you see moderating his live chats. I won't say they hang out in there all the time, but there's usually at least one of them hanging around to answer questions. Nisha's got a Carnivore challenge going on. There's a bunch of stuff in there that you can do. Talk to other people, ask questions, learn, watch the replays of old live streams, the ones that were in the private group. All that. Now you can join at whatever level you want, but that's a lot of value for $5. So if you're bound and determined to spend a little money on your January challenges, on your New Year's resolutions, I would say joining Dr. Barry's Mighty Network is the best $5 you can spend this year. So I hope those of you that came here looking for the extreme weight loss hack, or whatever I ended up making the title, found what you were looking for. I will have some closing thoughts down at the end of the video. And I still had a question the other day. It's like, Bob, why do you do the sped up music section instead of just ending your videos? Well, it's all about accountability. Accountability to me, accountability to you. Because I could shut the camera off right now, say have a great day, I'll see you tomorrow. And then at the end of the video, in a little text blurb at the end, I could tell you I walked 4 miles today. But that wouldn't be true. And I like to keep these videos a certain length because I have a lot of people that take me with them as their walking buddy. Whether they're walking outside, or walking in the mall, or walking on a trail, or just walking on a treadmill. So I like to keep the videos a certain length. Sometimes they run a little longer. I hear somebody coming in. Oh, it's just a Jeep turning around. Okay. So that's why I do this section. Plus I still have some people that watch my videos. I know one of them is an occupational therapist who compares my old videos to my new videos to see how much better I'm walking. And I like to keep those sections in there. So that's why I do that. If you don't like the walking music section, you can just fast forward ahead to where I start talking again. But I hope you'll stick around and listen to today's selection. Cue the music. Okay, cut the music. Thank you. Whew. Okay, that's a lot more than I've walked in a while, but it feels good to get out here and get that kind of walking in. Just remember, there are many, many ways to lose weight, but you need to ask yourself, is it sustainable? Why are there still big billion-dollar weight loss industries out there that have been around for decades and they're still going strong? That's because their diets don't really work long term. If they did, everybody would have learned their secrets, said thanks for the info, and been done. But they're still making billions of dollars. The very best weight loss hack that is sustainable: eat the meat as much as you want. Add the salt as much as you want. And drink the water. That will get you long-term sustainable results for the new year. Yep. And if you stick around because you like me, or you stuck around because you like the music, several people have asked. There's a link in the description. Totally not sponsored, by the way. Although if they wanted to, I'd be happy to make a video talking about them some more. But down in the description, you'll find a link to Epidemic Sound. Completely copyright-free music. With your paid subscription, it is like $15 a month. But for that, you get unlimited downloads of whatever kind of music you like. They have a very good search engine, so you can search for the kind of stuff you like. They also have a huge sound effects library. So you know those holiday cards that you push you open them up and you can record a greeting in them. And then forever, when your friends and relatives open that holiday card up, they hear the message you left them. Well, you can have a lot of fun with that using the sound effects from Epidemic Sound. Just thought I'd throw that in there. I thought of that while I was coming around the backside and found it amusing in my own head. Here, sister, here's my holiday card, exactly what I think of you. And every time she opens the card up to read it, there's a farting noise or a belch. Sorry, I'm in one of those weird moods because it's finally starting to warm up, although it is getting colder again now because the sun's been hiding behind the clouds for most of my walk. So I'm ready to go inside and call it a day, watch football. There's a lot of college football today. 4 bowl games starting at noon, running all the way through the Wisconsin game tonight. First Big Ten team to take the field. So we'll see what happens there. Don't forget, folks, get out there, be 1% better today, be 1% better tomorrow. Always strive to be 1% better. Have a great day. I will see you tomorrow.